This is about defending democracy. This is no longer Democrats versus Republicans. What do you want your kids to believe in? There must be give and take.
This is White Flag with Joe Walsh.
This past week in New Hampshire, I believe it was Monday, the day before the New Hampshire primary, Donald Trump at a rally told his rally crowd, 1,000 or 2,000 people, he told them that he will only lose the election. The only way he will lose the 2024 election is if it was stolen, is if the Democrats stole it from him, is if it's a stolen election. Trump said that earlier this week to a crowd of supporters in New Hampshire. The only way he'd lose, he told them, is if the election is stolen. It's not the first time Trump has said that this year. He said it earlier in the month of January to a crowd in Iowa. Said the same thing. Said there are really only one of two things that are going to happen. Either I'm going to win in November, Trump said, or the election will be stolen. Donald Trump planting the stolen election lie months before the election. Donald Trump lying about the 2024 election before the election. This is what he does. This is what he did in 2020. So many people forget that the stolen election lie began way before the election. Trump didn't wait until the election or wait until a day or two or three after the election to say the election was stolen. 70% of Republicans, 2/3 of Republicans, I actually think it's more, believe the 2020 election was stolen. They don't believe that Joe Biden really won in 2020. Donald Trump began lying about the 2020 election months before the election. I remember in 2020, I remember being on the radio when I was still on the radio. I remember Trump saying the same damn thing at a rally. It was like in May of 2020, and I was just stunned. The first time I'd heard it, startled, stunned, couldn't believe it, that Trump was telling his audience two possibilities in November. Either I win or the election will be stolen. Either I win or it'll be a rigged election. The Democrats will steal it from us. Planting the seeds of the stolen election months before the election. So many people forget that Trump did this. So many people forgetting this. And Trump does this. Make no mistake, Donald Trump planting the stolen election lie months before the election. He knows what he's doing. Trump planting the seed here. He is growing anger among his supporters. He's growing distrust in the system. And he's egging them on to violence. This is what Trump is doing. He's egging them on to violence in case he loses. It's what he did in 2020. Trump wants there to be violence if he loses. This is why he's planting the seeds. He wants his supporters to be pissed off, to be angry, to have lost faith in our election system, to have lost faith in our democracy, so that when he does lose, he can say, see, it was stolen, and his supporters will believe it was stolen, and they will get violent, and they got violent on January 6th. Donald Trump wanted January 6th to happen. He wanted there to be violence. Donald Trump does this because he wants violence. He wanted January 6th to happen. He wants there to be violence again this year. Make no mistake about it. It's beyond despicable. This is treasonous. This is traitorous. This is just ugly. He's unfit. A man running for president of the United States is lying to his supporters months before the election, hoping his supporters lose faith in our system. Oh, think about that. He's lying to his supporters months before the election, hoping his supporters will get violent and overthrow that election if he ends up losing. He's so unfit. This is so dangerous. I've often said Trump's greatest legacy is the destruction of truth. True. Maybe his greatest legacy is the erosion of trust in our democratic process. Regardless, he must lose. And even if he says it was stolen, he must lose. And we must prepare for unrest again and violence again. I'm Joe Walsh. Thanks for listening. This is White Flag with Joe Walsh. Joe Walsh White Flag at gmail.com. One word, Joe Walsh White Flag at gmail.com. Thanks. Be brave.
Thank you for listening. Remember to listen, share, and follow White Flag with Joe Walsh on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere great podcasts are found. And be sure to leave a 5-star review. This has been White Flag with Joe Walsh.